Aloha, everybody. Welcome to the first coffee hour of the Senior Counsel Division of the Hawaii State Bar Association for 2023. I'm incoming President Scott Makuakane, and our speaker this month is our new Vice President and President-elect of the Senior Counsel Division, Senior Prosecuting Attorney Scott Spallina. And Scott's been a friend and colleague for many years, but when I got his bio this morning and read through it, I thought, wow, there's a lot in here I didn't even know. And so I'd like to read this, if it's okay, Scott, not to embarrass you, but I'd like to sort of pump you up a little bit. This is really good stuff. Scott Spallina attended the William S. Richardson School of Law and clerked for Judge Marie Milks upon graduation. Afterwards, he worked in the law firm of Koshiba and Associates before being hired by the Honolulu Prosecutor's office in 1995. Scott rose to the rank of supervisor of the domestic violence team before he created Hawaii's first elder abuse prosecution unit in 2008. During his 26 years with the prosecutor's office, Scott has done more than 70 jury trials, prosecuted thousands of felony domestic violence and elder abuse cases, and conducted over 400 presentations and trainings in Hawaii and on the mainland on subjects ranging from jury selection and advanced trial advocacy to police officers as domestic violence perpetrators and elder abuse in the care home. So Scott, we're looking forward to a great talk. Thank you very much for being our guest this month. Take it away.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Scott. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. I know that after the holidays, we're trying to get back into the spirit of things. Last year, for those of you that joined us last year, I spoke primarily about the criminal mind and looking at the criminal mind of elder abuse. Today, what I hope to do is look at a more broader scope of elder abuse, as well as cover things that are happening in our office today. For those of you that wish to look at last year's presentation, it's on YouTube. I think it's gotten a total of maybe 2 views. One's from my mom and one's from my wife, who fell asleep during. Hey, before we begin, I have to do the whole lawyer thing, and that the views expressed by me are not necessarily those of the prosecuting attorney. So whatever I say, don't blame me. Don't report me to my boss, Steve Ong. But feel free to laugh at my jokes, though. Let's see, today's goals and objectives are to provide an overview of the prosecutor's office. Let's see, to get my PowerPoint working. Provide an overview of elder abuse. Look at the challenges present in prosecuting, stopping these crimes, prevention, what works, what doesn't. Okay, the duties of the prosecutor's office. Again, as Scott Makuakane indicated before, I've been with the prosecutor's office for now, actually 27 years. Prior to that also, I interned with the prosecutor's office. I've gone through pretty much every division within the prosecutor's office on my way to where I'm at today. And we're going to cover some of those divisions and also some of the responsibilities of the Honolulu prosecutor's office. Obviously, we prosecute cases, we take them to court. We also draft laws. That's one thing that a lot of people realize, is that we're at the Capitol every year, basically trying to firm up certain laws, trying to create certain laws. In fact, just last year, now it's 2 years ago, we, with the help of Maui and the Big Island Prosecutor's Office, not the help, they actually drew it, we helped them out. We firmed up some of the elder abuse laws, and we'll cover some of those laws today to make it easier, to increase the penalties of elder abuse, and to make it easier to prove elder abuse cases. Also, the duties are that we help victims of crime. One thing a lot of people don't understand is that not only are we an office of attorneys, but we're an office of social workers as well, because we deal with the victims of crime. We deal with child victims, we deal with domestic violence victims, we deal with elder victims. And believe it or not, prosecuting attorneys are not the most empathetic people in the world. We need to have somebody to handle the touchy-feely portions of the thing. We'll fight the court, we'll fight the judge, we'll fight the lawyers, but we need someone to help us communicate well in a nurturing environment. And that's what we have our social workers for in the office. There are victim advocates, and they keep us on track of saying, hey, you need to call back your victim You explain to the victim what's going on. Hey, you need to explain to the court that this victim has certain needs that need to be addressed. So part of that is that we help get the restitution as ordered by the court. We coordinate with the victims, make sure that they get the restitution, as well as we have actually even it's not a therapy dog, it's a court dog that we take to court for cases that involve, let's say, high trauma victim cases, like your child sex assault cases. You oftentimes see the court dog from our office going down and with children that have been victimized, whether they've been sexually assaulted or harmed in physical ways or mental ways. We have the court dog there. So we have those things as well. And then also we go out into the public. This is one of the things that we do and we enjoy doing. It's free. We've done, as Scott McCook indicated before, the Elder Abuse Unit alone has done over 400 presentations, lectures, seminars, trainings through two, I should say, the district parks around the island, as well as to AARP, as well as to Adult Protective Services, as well as to different financial institutions. And actually next week, we're scheduled to teach at the police academy, young recruits. We do that every recruit class. So that's one of our responsibilities, is to educate the public at not only elder abuse, but we also educate the public on domestic violence and other needs. So if you belong to a community service group, give us a call. We'll go out there and we'll tell people this same presentation. Okay, how do we become involved in the whole thing here? Well, first of all, you need a crime. We are the prosecutor's office. We handle crimes. A lot of times we get calls that are more the civil type of situations, and we say, sorry, that's for those high-powered, good-looking, well-dressed attorneys. We are just criminal attorneys, and so we need a crime first. That crime has to be reported. That's how we become involved. The police make the report, then the police investigate the crime. And I know this sounds like Law and Order, the beginning of Law and Order, but they investigate the crime and then they contact our office. Usually when an arrest is made, or sometimes when they're investigating the case and they want to get a search warrant. Then they say, Scott, we need a search warrant. So they'll give us a call and then we'll help them draft the search warrant, present to the judge, and then they can go out and continue on their investigation, collecting evidence, whether it be DNA evidence, fingerprints, financial, forensic stuff from the banks, all that good stuff there. Okay, evidence is reviewed by our office to determine what crimes will be charged. That's something, again, what you'll see on television, Law and Order, is that you have the police bring us this evidence and say, okay, we feel it's an attempted murder because so-and-so tried to run over this. We'll review the reports. We'll look at the body-worn cameras. Now everybody has body-worn cameras. We'll look at the surveillance tapes. We'll look at all the evidence. Say, you know what? This is not an attempted murder. This is a attempted assault, or this is a terroristic threatening case, or this is this kind of case. There's this kind of case here. Oftentimes we agree with the police, but there's going to be times when we don't agree with the police. And sometimes our relationship is good with them, and sometimes it's not. Hopefully we do have mutual respect towards one another. It's just something that the police might have, saying, we have this, and they say, well, you have that, but the court will only accept this as evidence. It's our job to look at the evidence objectively as possible, see what evidence may be suppressed. That's why we have to know our Supreme Court laws. We have to know the legislative intent on the statutes that we present, and then say, you know, you don't have enough, or you know what? That confession you got, you did not do X, Y, and Z beforehand. So let's throw out the confession that you got and see if we have enough to go forward, or let's try this tact here. So yes, we determine what crimes will be charged. Then we bring the case, well, before Bro, we used to do preliminary hearings. We bring the case for grand jury or probable cause determination. We do that through either felony information, preliminary hearing, or grand jury. And then we go to trial, and that's what we do. That's our role in the criminal justice system. And then after that, then the Department of Safety, they incarcerate the person, they do probation, all that stuff there. Okay, our organization in the office, we have Steve Alm, who is our elected prosecuting attorney. And we have his first deputy, Tom Brady, a relationship to the football player. Our office is divided into certain sections. Each section has a certain specialty, and it all flows from the most Menini case to the most hardcore case. There's going to be a place in our office for that. We have one team we have right now that actually I'm a part of is the felony review and intake. Then we have our traffic misdemeanor. Traffic misdemeanor, they do the bulk of our cases because fortunately, a lot of the cases that happen on Oahu are of the traffic sort, or of the misdemeanor sort, whether it be jaywalking, whether it be DUI, whether it be a bar fight where there's no broken bones, whether it be disorderly conduct, like someone's drunk on the street. This is our attorneys here, they handle the highest volume of anybody in our office because they have thousands of cases on an island of close to 1 million. We don't always behave as we should. Okay, we have a juvenile offender. They handle anybody under 18, all crimes under 18, whether it be the Menini crimes all the way up to our murders they handle. Okay, misdemeanor jury demand. These are cases that are not felonies, but still they are allowed to ask for jury, and they do. And so these are our misdemeanor jury demand people. Then we have our felony and specialty courts. Now, specialty courts are anything from your veterans court to your drug court, to your girls court, to your mental health court. Also included in that is whole probation. So the prosecutor's office is bent over backwards to make sure that we don't do cookie cutter justice. We make sure that and that's one thing that Steve Alma is very passionate about, is hope probation. He's very passionate about not just everybody being thrown into jail. It's like there's also rehabilitation as well. And especially the courts and the judiciary go a long way into treating criminals as individuals as well, and to address their needs, whether there needs to be mental health, whether there needs to be drugs, whether there needs to be alcohol, substance abuse. So that's why we have the specialty courts to help with the rehabilitation of a lot of our people that have been convicted of crimes. Elder abuse, my opinion, the most important team. Domestic violence divisions, we have it broken up into misdemeanor and felony divisions. Then we have our sex assault and human trafficking. Human trafficking is unique in that you're going to see a lot of, in that team there, you're going to see a lot of coordination with our federal friends over in the federal building, FBI and whatnot, as well as INS and those federal things, because they deal with human trafficking, interstate, international, but also the Attorney General's office. They have their own human trafficking as well. So they're very busy. The sex assault human trafficking team within our office, there's a lot of coordination with outside agencies as well. Okay, career criminal, these are the people that are committing crime, but they also have a criminal background as well. So they will take place. And then research and appeals, once we get a conviction, then we want to make it stick. And so we have people, like criminals that have been convicted of crimes, they want to appeal for a variety of reasons, whether it be prosecutor misconduct, illegal sentencing, whatever. So then we have the brain trust, our research and appeals people, and they'll argue before the ICA and before the Hawaii Supreme Court that we did not screw up. That's what they'll argue. Okay, talking about the most important team, elder abuse. They prosecute felony crimes involving victims 60 years of age or older. Now, I'm going to highlight that the elder abuse unit, the unit I used to be in charge of, and now we have an excellent trial captain over there, Kathy Lowenberg. They handle the felony crimes that involve seniors, but our office handles all crimes involving seniors as well. It's just that they're only focusing on the felony crimes. And so if it's a misdemeanor crime, let's say that there's a misdemeanor value property taken from a senior, it will be handled by our office, but just not by the elder abuse unit within our office. Okay, we are on call, or they are on call, I should say, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand, is like saying, well, Scott, you're a government lawyer. You leave by 3 o'clock after your 3-hour lunch break. And that's not true, because criminals, believe it or not, have rights. And one of the rights is that once they are arrested, we have 48 hours to charge them. Now, remember what I said earlier about how we had to review the evidence, we had to review the tapes, we had to review the documents, the statements, all that. It takes a while after someone's arrested, like police roll up on the scene, they see things, they arrest. Now they have to write the reports. Now they have to go around, look for surveillance. Now they have to type up the things they have to do, testing of the gun. Was it a real gun? Was it not a real gun? Is this real drugs, not real drugs? All that takes time. They only have 48 hours. And 48 hours of so they're working day and night. HPD is working day and night. And so we have to be responsive to their needs as well. So we work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm trying to reach for my pager. I'm not on pager today, so that's why I'm constantly going on here. But the persons that are on pager, they will meet with the police day and night. So we are on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And not only elder abuse does this, but our office does this for all crimes, the screening and intake, the team that I'm in right now. We do this, as well as the sex assault team. They're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as well as the career criminal, as well as the domestic violence. So those are the teams that are on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because of the need to make sure that the criminal is appropriately charged in the constitutionally mandated time frame. That's a lot of words there. Okay, these crimes range from physical, emotional, and financial. We do practically all. We used to do the sex assault, but then we realized that, you know what, we have our own sex assault team. We're going to go ahead and let them do their specialty. So now the sex assault unit within our office, remember that they did the human trafficking as well. They handle the elder they handle the elder sex crimes as well. And vertical prosecution, this is huge. In that, what vertical prosecution means is that, let's say hypothetically, I'm on the elder abuse team and I get a call from the police officer saying, hey, Scott, we got this case. Can you review the evidence? Sure. I review the evidence. That case sticks with me throughout the entire trial now. I touch it, I keep it. And the reason that's good is that I'm going to be meeting with that victim early on in the case. I'm going to be meeting with that victim every time she comes to court. I'm going to be meeting with that same victim at time of sentencing. So that way that victim does not have to repeat her story over and over and over again to different prosecuting attorneys, which is just ridiculous. Only several teams do this. That's the sex assault team and the domestic violence and the elder abuse team are the only ones that have true vertical prosecution, where you bring it in, you keep it. And it just helps with the whole stress of the situation. It helps alleviate that stress with our victims, because we want to make sure that our victims are taken care of. And again, that's one thing that our office, Steve Alm especially, is concerned about, is the safety, well-being of our victims. He's very, the words, I'm a lawyer, I forgot the words. He helps out the victims a lot. Okay, a little bit of history here. Back in 2008, there was only one prosecutor, me, and one staff member, and that's Peter. This team started under Peter Carlisle. Now, in 2023, there's 3 attorneys in the team, soon to be 4, hopefully, keep our fingers crossed. We have 2 staff members. We have a full-time paralegal and also volunteers, interns to help. Unfortunately, we need all those people. In my opinion, we need more, but yeah, come over and work for us. There's my pitch right there to work. Why have an elder abuse unit? The primary reason that we wanted to have a specialized elder abuse unit is that we realized that elder abuse is a grossly underreported crime. There's going to be a variety of reasons we're going to go through, but these are some of the numbers regarding why it's not being reported. And we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg in the cases that we get. Let me see here, but the reasons why it goes unreported is we're finding out, especially in elder abuse cases, embarrassment. You can get a lot of seniors that are embarrassed, that saying, I can't believe I fell for that scam. I can't believe this person did this to me. I can't believe my trust was betrayed by this individual. So let's see, we're gonna go through shame. They're afraid that they won't be believed. They're worried about losing independence. And again, this is a big one with respect to seniors, because, and I just had this conversation, I swear to God, last night with a detective, in that the victim knew that they were in a bad home, in a bad situation, that there were people abusing this individual. However, they did not want to report it because they did not want to leave the home. It was the devil they knew versus the devil they didn't know. Because everybody has, when you say the home, everybody's so afraid of leaving your house. Everybody's so afraid of being moved into a institution, moving into a care home, because that's not the home that they grew up in. That's not the home that they raised their children in. That's not the home that they helped build. And that's not the home that they envisioned retiring in. It's their house. And it's sad when their house has become almost their prison. Then when their house has like been so neglected, when their house has been so hoarded up, yet it's not a good environment for them, but they don't want to move into a quote unquote better environment for them. It's a safer environment because that's not their home. And so they're so afraid that if they report that their caregiver is doing this to them, what's going to happen? Are they going to lose their caregiver? Therefore, are they going to be forced into a home? These are things that our senior victims are very concerned about. And so that's why they don't want to report oftentimes. They're worried about losing family and friends, fear of retaliation. Let's see, what reasons? Fear of reporting will force them into a care facility. We talked about that. A medical condition. Not all of our victims can, excuse me, not all our victims are capable of communicating what's going on, especially in the care homes. Not to get too graphic, but we're very seldom seeing care home abuse when it's sexual assaults, because you have, if you are a sexual predator, if you're a sexual predator, the care home is the best place to go because that's where you're going to get victims that cannot report it. We've had cases, multiple cases, where you have people praying in care homes in the dementia unit. And the dementia victim is the best person to commit a crime against because they cannot cognitively understand what's going on. They cannot report it to the police. And the only time we have seen it is when there's been a third party involved, whether it be a witness or someone walking in there, and then that's when it's reported to the police. That's just the realities of what we live in here. And then lastly, feeling betraying the family if the abuser is a family member. We're going to get to that a little bit later on. Okay. Another thing that we're there for is the elder abuse unit was designed when we created back in 2008 to enhance awareness, prevention, and prosecution of crimes affecting the elderly. And how do we do this? We do this through information. We want to basically let everybody know that we're out there, let everybody know the signs of elder abuse, let everybody know that there's ways to prevent elder abuse. You will see in this, the pictures that you see here in this slide, that we go out to the senior fairs. The big ones are the Good Life Expo and the Primetime Wellness Fair. We've gone to the City and County Mayor's Craft Fair, HPD's Nonakapunas that they put on around the islands. We love going out there at the Good Life Expos, especially. That's the big one. That's a 3-day one at the Blaisdell. I think it was like 2 days last year. There was like approximately 1 year, 26,000 seniors and caregivers going there, passing by our booth. And the people that run these conferences, they've been really generous with their time and efforts, and they allow us a booth space for free. And we just go out there and we meet people, we answer their questions, we talk to them about the law, we talk to them about safety tips, prevention tips. Sometimes we have the police with us answering their questions to the public. So yes, that's one of the things that when we created it, we wanted to get out of the community. We did not want to be a reactive unit, we wanted to be proactive in what we did. Okay, and then again, just going education, we have PSAs, we have We go to the senior fair, the senior centers out there. We sent postcards when we first began to a lot of the senior agencies saying, hey, we're alive, Merry Christmas. We've been on the radio. Occasionally we go on the Rowan Young show. He's a backyard estate planner. We've been on his show multiple times. He's very generous with his time, and he allows us to get out there and spread the word. We've been on KHON, on Hawaii News Now. We've had articles written about us, again, to help raise awareness. And that's the primary thing that we do, besides obviously prosecution of cases, is we want to prevent crimes from happening. One year we even did a postcard to all the elected officials in Hawaii, just basically saying, hey, World Elder Abuse and Awareness Day is happening June 5th every year. Put it on your calendar. So, okay, these are the crimes that our office handles. These are the crimes primarily that our elder abuse unit handles. But looking at all these elder abuse crimes, financial exploitation are the crimes that happen most to seniors. And we're going to go through the reasons why that is there. The dynamics of financial elder abuse present certain challenges not found in other crimes targeting seniors. I'm going to illustrate this by way of a joke. And the joke is this. An elderly man was working out at the gym when he spotted a young woman working out. Okay. He asked the trainer, what machine should I use to impress that young lady over there? And the trainer replied, I recommend the ATM machine in the lobby. See, this in my mind summarizes a lot of what goes on in financial elder abuse, in that it doesn't leave behind bruises, it doesn't leave behind hard evidence, it just leaves behind an empty bank account. Okay. Is financial abuse a problem? Yes, it is, obviously. That's why we're here. These are just some, and every time that I do research, every time I get the latest FBI reports, annual reports, it always amazes me how there are new scams coming on. One of the things I like to do during lunchtime is look at the YouTube scams. Just type in, go on to YouTube, look at scams, and it's just amazing. Just the number of scams that are out there, not just targeting a senior, but targeting everybody. And it's exhausting to try to keep up with this because the criminals, this is their full-time job. My full-time job is prosecuting cases. My full-time job is meeting with the police, going to court, trying to hold people accountable for their crimes. These guys' full-time job is waking up in the morning and saying, how can I trick somebody into giving me their money? And these guys are not idiots either. That's one thing. You never underestimate the scam artists. They're very clever. They have the technology, they have the tools because they make bank. They make money doing this. And so, and they are professional. They are professional con men out there that make their living doing this, and they make a good living doing this. Okay, this is my teacher. This person has taught me so much about elder abuse. And for those of you that joined me last year on the criminal handbook, you know who this person is, but for those of you who do not, let me tell you who this woman is. Okay, this woman is my favorite victim. She has educated me on so many different scams, crazy. See, back in 2000, it was the Y2K scam. Remember when the computers were going from 1999 to 2000 and the world was going to explode? She fell for that and she lost $18,000. Unlicensed contractor. She had a house in Kailua, which she wanted work done. She gave a friend of a friend, actually a friend of her son, $8,000, and he walked away with the $8,000. He's an unlicensed contractor. She was convinced to spend money on the Iraqi money dinar. So she blew $4,000 on the foreign currency scam, investment scam. Don't pay taxes seminar. This was a coaching scam. I did not know what coaching scams were until I did research on what was going on with her and realized that, yeah, the con men, what they'll do is they will do banquet halls, they'll do ballrooms, they'll do churches, and you pay to hear their seminars. and you pay a lot of money. She paid over $2,000 to hear this guy say, don't pay your taxes, it's voluntary. Don't pay your taxes, it's voluntary. And now that person actually is in jail, federal prison. Okay, internet investment scheme. Again, this is another coaching scam. She went to one of the hotels and did multiple seminars because they're going to be the next eBay. So it's an investment scheme. Lost $6,000 there. Distressed friend. She almost lost $2,000. This one just happened last year or 2 years ago to her now, where she got an email saying, I'm traveling, I got ripped off, and can you send me money, please? And so she went to Polyloms, and she got the gift cards. And as she's purchasing the gift cards, $2,000 worth of gift cards, the teller, God bless the teller's soul, asked her, why do you need these gift cards? Got curiosity there. And she said, well, because my friend's traveling, blah, blah, blah. So the teller said, can you call your friend up right now just to verify? Because there's a lot of scams going on. And sure enough, this woman did this. And sure enough, her friend was in Manoa. She wasn't traveling in the Philippines, and saved this woman $2,000. Okay, mortgage sovereign citizen. This was another coaching scam that turned into almost losing her house. She had to go into bankruptcy because it's just crazy. Okay. Oh yeah. So who is this lady? She is my mother-in-law. For years, I have, well, for 30 years, I've been married to her daughter. But this lady, my mother-in-law, she has taught me so much about the whole victimology of elder abuse. She has taught me how you can beg, cajole, yell, do everything possible to try to stop someone from being a victim, and sometimes it's just not enough. I have tried a lot of different avenues, a lot of different paths, and maybe next year, if I'm invited back, I will go through in detail all these scams, everything I've tried to do to stop my mother-in-law from falling for it. Right now, she's in the middle of another scam. I can't do it because it's illegal for me to lock her up. That's a crime. And she's still cognitively aware. She doesn't believe me. She believes these strangers that are asking her for money. So it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Okay. When we're talking about financial exploitation, we're basically talking about checks without permission, forging signatures, stealing money or possessions, coercion to sign documents, improper use of power of attorney. We can get more into that. Misappropriation of money. We're talking about scams, deceit, all that fun stuff. And how bad is it a problem here? Well, older adults lose $36 billion a year to elder financial exploitation. There's a correlation between the sudden loss of net worth and increased mortality. In other words, this type of loss appears to double the risk of death. Right now, the cases that I handle everybody's crimes. I handle senior crimes, and I handle people that are not senior crimes. And you do see a difference in how the victims react. Someone that loses money when they're 28 years old versus someone that loses money when they're 75 years old. It's profound, because the person that is in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, they can still rebound. They can still say, okay, dang it, I should have known better. Okay, I learned my lesson. I'm going to be more careful in the future, and I'll just make that money back and everything. Whereas you got a senior who's on fixed income, who has basically been very careful with their money, their savings, their retirement, and then you take that away from them. And they're wondering, how can I bounce back? I can't go back into the job force. I'm retired. I don't have extra source of income. How am I going to make money? I'm not going to do DoorDash or whatever, Uber Eats or whatever. It's the worry, the stress. It's almost palpable. They have this like blanket of just like depression over them. And that's not good for their health. And you do see them just physically drained. When they come to court, they're withered. They're just physically drained of their energy because they've been severely injured financially for a lot of these cases here. And depending on who did this to them, it's even more worse. Financial fraud and scams reach approximately 1 in 18 cognitively intact older adults each year. And they're just targeting seniors. These crimes are disruptive enough to make it difficult or impossible for victims to reestablish any sense of return to a normal daily living. It has been described, and I like this, as a form of financial violence. And again, going back to the physical pain of losing their money later on in life is, I mean, sometimes I think they prefer to be injured because their bones will heal. They'll be pretty much back to normal for the most part. Whereas, again, a severe financial loss that affects them for the rest of their life. Okay, why are seniors targeted? Okay. Well, they have the wealth. People 60 and over, they have 70% of the nation's wealth. And the criminals know this. They're often viewed as lonely. You see them being targeted, whether that be online, and these are a couple of ads that have appeared targeting older men, targeting seniors, targeting women. It's called sweetheart swindles, where basically you have seniors going online and thinking that, okay, I'm going to just put it out there. There's all these new not hookup sites, but dating apps for seniors. And so I'm going to go ahead and go on that because other seniors will see me and they'll probably be in my neighborhood. And those are really bad assumptions, because once you put it on the World Wide Web, the internet superhighway, it can go all over the world. And these people will pretend to be your neighbor. However, they'll be in Timbuktu and they'll develop these relationships and take advantage of those relationships, those trust bonds that they'll form. Okay, and seniors are thought to be not that technologically advanced, and so you'll see a lot of them like getting phone calls for your Windows is broken. We can make your computer faster. Targeted emails, not realizing, and seniors don't realize this oftentimes, is that 90%, 95% of the emails that you're going to get are garbage. Just delete them, just delete them, just delete them. But they're not used to that because in their generation, they're used to it. If it's writing, it must be true. They haven't grown up in our present day society where there's so much misinformation, so much fake news going on there. So they say, if someone took the time to write it, it must be true. There must be a grain of salt in that, and not realizing that, no, there's computer bots that generate this junk. There are people in Russia, Timbuktu, North Korea, whomever, India, that are just targeting them and trying to get their financial resources. Okay. Potential abusers. There's just a list. I'm not going to go through all of them there, but it can pretty much be anybody. Somebody was asking me one time about why do I have the hairdresser? Our office has had multiple cases where you've had hairdressers do investment schemes. I've had hairdressers pretend to their clients to be experts in cryptocurrency. And so as they're chopping the hair, they're saying, oh, by the way, you heard about this cryptocurrency where everybody's making so much money? I can help you get involved in that. And so we've had people lose $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 saying, here's my money. I'm going to give it to my hairdresser and she's going to invest it and I'm going to get $1 bazillion back in return. So we've had cases like that. We've had hairdressers convince them, oh, I'm starting this business of essential oils. And then the person, oh yeah, I've heard of essential oils. Everybody's doing essential oils or vitamins. I've heard this. So you have hairdressers moonlighting as multi-level marketing people, as well as just creating these fictitious things because they've had the same client for years and years, develop that trust bond, and then take advantage of that trust bond. But number one abuser should come to no surprise. Number one abuser of seniors financially are family members. And when I say family member, I'm talking about children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunties, cousins, in-laws as well. Okay, and here's a little pie chart there. You can see the adult children take up a big chunk, the spouses, the grandchildren, other relatives, parents, siblings. They take the majority of the chunk of people targeting seniors. And why is that? Because, see, they have the knowledge of the wealth. Your children know how wealthy you are, especially your adult children know how wealthy you are. They have access. If they go into your home, it's not suspicious when they come into your house. The neighbors are expecting them to come into the house. See, they believe that you love them enough that you're not going to report them to the police. They can basically get away with it. And unfortunately, sometimes it's true. And there's one thing that just drives me crazy is that of the thousands of elder abuse cases I've handled, with a lot of those being adult children stealing from their parents, the children never admit what they did is wrong. They always rationalize, say, hey, I'm owed that money, or I was going to get that money when mom and dad passed away, or it's only a loan. It's only a loan. And once I stop doing drugs and pay off my gambling debt or whatever, then it's going to be okay. Or I've had parents do this before where they give their children drug money. And they literally say to me, Scott, I want to give my child, I know that they're going to buy drugs with it, but I need to give them the money because I don't want them to turn to a life of crime and go out and rob people. So I will go ahead and give them the money. Thing is, it's never enough money. And pretty soon the parent's going to find themselves without that cash that day. One of my very first cases I had was basically these parents that gave their children, or gave their son actually, money to buy drugs, and she didn't have cash. The mom didn't have cash that one day. And it upset the son to where he pushed her down and broke her hip because he wanted the money right then and there. She didn't have the money. She didn't go to the bank yet. So he's upset. So he pushed her down, broke her hip. It got reported to us. Okay. When we go to do presentations to the public, one of the things that we want to do again is raise awareness of elder abuse, who's doing it. And so I'll always ask the people, what does a criminal look like? And this is typically the responses I get. It's somebody that's wearing a mask, wearing a glove. When you close your eyes and say, what's the criminal look like? They will envision something like this. They'll describe somebody doing something like this. Say, oh yeah, this is what a criminal looks like there. Okay. Or they'll unfortunately sometimes just start describing me, saying, oh yeah, he looks like a slick lawyer kind. And so this is everybody's stereotypical, a con man, what a financial exploitator looks like. See. But they don't really describe somebody like this. And I'll ask them, does this person look like a criminal? I mean, look, he's well dressed. He must be well liked. He's hanging out there. He has a job. He ran for office. He's Army National Guard. He has an entertainment company that does like entertainment venue kind of things like that. He's a nice looking guy here. He can't be a criminal, can he? Au contraire. Actually, what he did is he took people's money and he went to Vegas and he bought those women. I would say those women weren't for sale, but he went there, he partied it up. He took one lady's money, $225,000 of her entire life savings, because he promised that he would double her money back, saying, you give me this money, I will double this. And that's all he did. He just ran a Ponzi scheme. And so he one-time house campaign, case of basketball. Okay. Does this person, now he looks like a friendly neighbor that you'd see walking down the street with a nice dog. Does he look like a criminal? And people say, no, he doesn't look like a criminal there. Au contraire. What he would do, what Mr. Harada would do, is he would target people retiring. That was his gig. Is if you were a city and county state employee and you had this lump sum of money when you retired, he would help you invest it. Unfortunately, that investment meant going into his pockets. Now, what about her? She looks like a nice lady. Looked like somebody that would sell you something at a store or something like that. We'll put together. But who did she rip off, though? She ripped off this gentleman right here, Stanley Ho. Nice gentleman. Actually, he lived down the street from me in Po'oa Valley. He rented an apartment. Rented a room, actually, in a house. And what she did, well, she swindled. The total was $32,000 that she swindled from him, and she was in the process of getting an additional $120,000. And basically, what Katie did, her name's Katie Stereo, is she approached Stanley Ho there on the corner of Hotel Street and Fort Street Mall, right there by the McDonald's, and said, "Sir, you look like a nice Christian man. Can we buy you lunch?" And she had her accomplice with her. She said it was sister, but no, accomplice. And they basically went to McDonald's. He convinced her the sister needed money. And so Stanley, over the next course of 3 days, gave him $32,000. She said, "I want to give you this money back. I have a house in California I want to sell. And so if you can go ahead and give me $120,000, I'll sell the house with renovations and we'll pay you back $40,000. And so that's what Stanley was in the process of doing when she got arrested. Now, we convicted her. I saw Stanley in court. Let's see. And basically, we were getting her money back. She was put on probation because she was able to get the money back. But then let's see what she did on probation. Let's see here. Okay. She went to the house of this old Chinese couple, and that's her at the doorway. And what she's going to do is she is going to walk into this couple's house. She's going to give they're strangers now, but she's going to give this woman a hug. She's going to walk right into the house. And again, she's strangers to this elderly couple, and she's going to make house. She's going to go in there. She's going to sit on the couch. She's going to be nonstop Portuguese talking. La, 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 la. Oh, Henty, look what you did at the house. Oh, you just came back from Vegas. Oh, is this couch new? Oh, I like your carpet and everything. And so what she did is she just talked and talked and talked. And you have this poor woman just wondering, like, do I know this? Did I meet this lady? Is she a relative? What am I going to do? I don't want to embarrass her by saying that I think you're mistaken. I've never seen you before in my life. But as she's talking, take a look at who comes to the door. Let's see, right about now. Yes, thank you, Dino. This is her husband, Dino Costello. And what Dino does, he comes right in. Come on in, Dino. Katie's going to say, "Hey, Dino, hey, this is my brother. You don't remember Dino, right?" And what Dino's going to do, and we're not going to get a whole tape, Dino's going to walk into the back of the house and start looking at the ceiling. When Dino goes into the back of the house, you can't see me pointing, but when Dino goes in the back of the house, the couple obviously is going to follow him as Dino starts talking. Say, "Oh, I look what you did to the house. And, oh, remember the leak you had in the ceiling and everything like that." So as the elderly couple is in the back bedroom talking to Dino, then you have Katie jumping up there, grabbing that purse that's on the counter there, going through, grabbing a credit card, and then the couple then leaves. They go to Ala Moana and they start purchasing stuff. Bang, 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 bang. They start purchasing the Gucci bags, the Rolex watches, all that fun stuff with this elderly couple's credit card. We capture them, we arrest them. We want to say we, the police did all the work. And now Katie's in prison. So we have Katie, and then Dino, he is on probation. So, okay, what about this young lady here? She looks like a nice lady. Well, what she did is she used a power of attorney and she stole money. And that's what she did to her neighbor, her 85-year-old neighbor, with power of attorney. And you might be saying, Scott, well, power of attorney, though, so what? She used a lawyer to do this? Let's see. Oh, this, okay, we all know who this person is. Miss K. Aloha. Does she look like a criminal? She didn't look like a criminal. She looked like my friend, which she was for a number of years. But then, as we all know, she did some bad stuff to her grandma, took over $180,000 from her. If you ask me, she did not look like a criminal. She looked like a friend. But even I was fooled by Miss K. Aloha. Okay. We're going to wrap up here by basically going through understanding the challenges of combating financial elder abuse. But first, let's look at some of the non-financial elder abuse cases. This is a case that I'm sure that a lot of people remember seeing on the television, where basically this created a lot of heartache to the public, because this poor gentleman here, he was in Chinatown, broad daylight, shopping, minding his own business, when the gentleman behind him basically comes and takes his wallet. Now, one interesting thing about this case here, if you see him, he'll grab the wallet. Once the gentleman puts it down, he grabs it, he's aloha, bye-bye, bammo. Back then, when this crime happened, I forgot the year this happened, this was only a misdemeanor, because the gentleman had put the wallet on the counter, and so the criminal, he grabbed the wallet off the counter and ran away. At that time, that was only a misdemeanor crime because it's called theft in the fourth degree, because the value of the wallet itself was under $100 or whatever. Now, as a result of this case and cases similar to this, we went to the legislators, the Capitol. We have a new law in place where this would be now a felony crime, where basically if someone takes a wallet, a purse, or a backpack, maybe, it's now a Class C felony theft 2 case. So as a result of this case, partially as a result of this case, we now have a felony. If this happened today, the person would be charged with a felony. Okay. Same with this case here. See that guy with the dog walking by? He must be a dog guy, a good guy. Nope, he's not. He grabbed money right out of the senior's hands as he's going through the bus pass. And that is a felony crime. It's theft in the second degree, taking it straight from the person. That's a no-no. This person here. Okay, this is a robbery. Again, we have force being used for money. We have people that have carjackings, and these are, again, the more serious, more violent crimes. But these crimes, though, are easy to prove, because if I showed that video to the jury, there'd be no doubt. There'd be no doubt. I showed this video and I'd point to the guy in court saying, you see the guy that hit baseball hat? He did that to the old man. And the jury would be all like salivating to convict him, hold him accountable for what he did to that senior. But let's say that, and again, these are easy to prove cases, but now let's look at financial cases though. There's an actual case that was brought to our office where basically the son took the mom to the bank to do her estate planning. The financial planner informed them that the house belongs to the brother. The brother had tricked the mom into signing the house over years ago. Mother doesn't want to prosecute. Crime, no crime. I mean, that's something that we have to struggle with here. And actually, the mom did not want to prosecute. Even though this would be a theft 1 by deception case, the mom just said, nope, I'm going to go ahead and just let the brother keep the house. That upset the entire family, but okay. Actual case number 2. We have adult daughter discovers her dad has legally married a bar girl, 40 years his junior. Dad and wife do not live together. Dad pays her mortgage and car payments. He likes being married, although no sex is had. Crime, no crime. Again, we get calls like this, and this is not a singular call I've gotten multiple calls like this from adult children that their parents have gotten into the situation. And it all comes down to who's the victim. It's not the adult child, it's the dad. Let's see, does the dad want to prosecute? That's number one question the police are going to ask is, does the dad want to prosecute? See, is the dad competent? This is huge. If the dad is competent, if he can handle every other affair in his life, but he just dates this girl, marries this girl like that, then it's legal. It's completely 100% legal. The actual case number 3. Adult daughter discovers father was befriended by 2 men. Men promised to fix his roof and occasionally climb up on the roof with a hammer. Every Friday, they bring him a plate lunch and talk story with him. For like 6 months, they did this. Yeah, they've been doing it for 6 years. He paid them over $400,000. Okay. No work was ever done on the roof. Let's see here. The father refused to call the police. The father, then you say, well, Scott, he must be incompetent. I mean, gee whiz. The father was competent. He just felt very lonely. And he befriended these guys to give them the song and dance story. And he didn't want to prosecute. That's what it comes down to, is they're $400,000 richer. He didn't want to prosecute. There's nothing really anybody can do because there's no case brought to the police. Okay, we're not going to get into this because basically what's happening is we're running out of time. And so we're going to skip to the end. These are things that, and this is something, this is an influence by what criminals do. We'll end with this here.
If you don't want to make up your mind right now, that's where I come in. I will make up your mind for you.
Anyway, I said I would not call unless it was a rare and definitely undervalued situation. Are you familiar with the $2.50 Gold Indian series?
This is enough money for you to go to your grave knowing that you went and did the right thing, and you can go and meet God with a clear conscience. Now, what do you want to do?
Are you stupid? I'm not trying to insult you, but are you mentally ill? Is there something wrong with you that I don't know about? Is there something physically wrong with you? Like, are you retarded? Are you overaged? Do you forget things? Is there something wrong with you?
You don't want to pick the phone up. Who the f*** are you talking to on the phone? Hang the phone up on those guys and pick the phone up while I'm calling you. And stop the f***ing with me. Want me to come over again and set your phone fired?
You'll never, ever be anything. You're going to your grave a loser. A big loser. I think you're terrible.
This is what's happening to our victims of these crimes. This is the primary reason they don't want to report it. Again, they're intimidated, and then when they willingly give over money, then is that a crime? And when doesn't it become a crime? I'm going to go ahead and basically give, I mean, basically the things that I'm talking about that I'm skipping over, these are ways to prevent these crimes. We just don't have time to go through these, and I apologize for that. It's my own not managing my time well. But basically, it's report to the police, report to Adult Protective Services, and let's see, call up Kathy Lowenberg. She's the captain of the elder abuse team. Call her up. That's her information. That's her direct line right there. Give her a call if you have any questions about elder abuse. Give her a call if you want a presentation down by our office. We'll gladly do that. Again, I apologize for having to skip some of the slides towards the end that basically just covered prevention. Don't rush into anything. If you have a client that's in the midst of a financial exploitation, give Kathy a call and she'll help you in what to discuss with that client. With a friend, neighbor, a relative that's going through the same thing. Kathy is very competent and she will be able to help you in giving good advice to the victims of a crime. If you have any questions about us, feel free to give us a call at any time. Again, thank you for your patience with me this afternoon. Again, be safe this new year. It's a new year. Let's make the resolution not to become a victim of a crime. I don't say that for your safety, but I just say it because I'm tired of handling more cases here. But hopefully everybody will have a safe and happy and healthy new year. thank you again for everything. Take care.
All right. If there are any questions for Scott, please put them in the chat and then I'll read it out loud for him to answer. And then seems like we got a question right over here. Is there a way we can get a copy of this presentation? Yes. So this presentation is being recorded and it will be uploaded sometime this week, if not next week. You can go ahead and check out the Senior Counsel Division Coffee Hour Archive webpage. I'll link it. I'll put it in the chat right now.
And actually, that's what I'll go ahead and do is I will send you a PDF of the entire PowerPoint, and then that way people will be able to look at the slides that I did not get to that covered a lot of the prevention portions as well.
Nice. All right. Okay, we got a question right over here.
Yes, APS.
Yeah.
Yes, I see that. Does Adult Protective Services work closely with the prosecutor's office? They do. One thing that is my goal, has been my goal the past couple of years, is that I'd want better communication between Adult Protective Services and HPD. Unfortunately, you have a perfect storm of not enough people, not enough manpower, and that Adult Protective Services, they're terribly busy. HPD, they're down what, a couple hundred officers, and then also our office, we're down I think like 20 attorneys there. So it's almost a Herculean effort to get a lot of good coordination. We do have a monthly multi-agency meetings going on right now. If I had one wish this new year was to have APS, Adult Protective Services, and not so much our office, but HPD have better collaboration. Well, actually, my wish, I'll give Chief Logan a call, is to have someone specially assigned from HPD directly to Adult Protective Services to just manage that. But right now, everybody's just stretched thin, and unfortunately, this is not getting better with respect to a lot of cases happening. It's just very, very busy everywhere. But we do work with APS. We do, they have my number, and I have their number, and I find myself, and Kathy's been calling them up as well. Kathy's part of this multidisciplinary team. And so she's working with HPD as well as APS and better coordination. So yes, that's a good question. Any other questions?
Yes, I have one. Oh no, they're just saying thank you.
Oh, thank you.
They're just saying mahalo. I believe if there's no other questions, I can turn it over to our SCD president, Scott Makokani, to give his closing remarks.
Awesome job, Scott. Once again, thank you so much for sharing. Really, really, you're stopping in with your update, and gosh, I think we are going to want to make you a perennial guest at our coffee hours, because the information you provide is wonderful. It's helpful, and it seems to really light up the switchboard here with people having questions and people being interested. Next month, we are going to have a special guest, Martha Clopin, talking about Medicare benefits, giving us an update. There's been some changes in the law, and so this is stuff that's relevant to all of us and our families, and we hope that you all will tune in next month as well. So thank you very much for attending the Senior Counsel Division Coffee Hour for January 2023, and please come on back next month. First Thursday of the month. Aloha.